Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to The Disputed, where hot takes burn hotter than Johnny G's debate record. That's right. Last week's poll results are in, and Rick now leads Johnny 1-0. But hey, someone's got to leave the bottom of the standings. Anyways, big news in the fantasy world today, guys. Yahoo just caved to public pressure. The start lineup for week feature is officially free again after fans crashed out on them like Matt after a denied trade. And because we believe in rewarding our loyal fans, we're raffling off a sealed bottle of premium bubble juice. Yes, the sacred elixir of champions. To anyone who likes, comments, and subscribes, don't miss your chance at history in a bottle. Amen! That's what the league said in unison this week after a landmark judgment was passed in the case of Murray Randall v. White Dick. A league wide vote determined the outcome of yet another of Matt's deplorable trades. What are your thoughts on the trade? Who was the winner? Who was the loser? And why? Why did it get vetoed?
Thanks, Josh. It's good to be back. You know, the league did the right thing, and this was a league vote. Let's not forget. Matt's a heathenist criminal, and that's what the league spoke to once again. Let's not forget, this is Matt, the Matt of Sandersgate. Let's not forget, this is Matt, the Matt of the coup of season 2. He's known for entrapment. He puts the rat in entrapment, honestly. He's the king of bad trades. And let's not forget, worst of all, the bad offers he put out to everyone in the league, like trying to throw bait out into the fish. Will someone take this terrible, terrible offer? And it's so sad. This poor sap, Josh Sanders took it. Make all the white dick jokes you want. Grady Dick is a waiver level player. It's so sad that Josh Sanders took this trade. And I'm glad that the league did the right thing here. Don't you think, Johnny G?
Rick, Rick, it is good to be back, but we don't agree on anything when it comes to this trade. Look, I'm here to really address the elephant in the room. I'm not talking about your connections to Diddy parties, Chauncey Billups poker games, or Epstein Island, Rick. I'm talking about the trade between the
Right.
Samurais and the
One of
Hazards.
those is right.
Look, this trade is fair. It's balanced, and it's a masterclass in fantasy strategy that our resident expert, the one whose fantasy career peaked in 2018, simply can't grasp. Okay? First of all, Julius Randle is a walking field goal percentage killer. Okay? He gives you big numbers, but he's not efficient. He's like you with all your ex wives, Rick. All right? The Samurais are getting rid of two categories that sink roto teams: turnovers and field goal percentage. Keep drinking that nasty ass bootleg bubble juice, Rick. Look, you swap Randall and an injured Keegan Murray for Kobe White. That's a young breakout star who's providing elite threes and free throw percentage. That's like swapping a wife who's a 5 for a wife who's a 10, Rick. You would love to do something like that. And hold on, I'm still talking.
Before.
The
I've done it
filler,
before.
you're talking about the filler Grady Dick? You talking about White Dick, Grady Dick, Rick, you're complaining about a player who is a waiver wire pickup. Okay. It's the fantasy equivalent of the spare change you found under the couch when you were scraping together alimony payments for your ex wives. Look, all in all, this trade should be allowed. I veto the veto, and let's move on before Rick forgets we're recording and breaks out the baby oil.
Slow down, Johnny GPT over here. Let's not forget what our great leader, Pope Johnny, teaches. Thou shalt not covet thou neighbor's player, and thou shalt not steal from those less fortunate, less fantasy fortunate. We know how Sanders is. We know how poor in fantasy is, in both the history and in the present. And it's so sad. Matt invited everyone for a date under the bridge. No one showed up except Josh Sanders, the sweetest man in the league, who's Matt, I'll follow you anywhere. And that's obviously what this is, because The league spoke. We've seen bad trades in this league before that have been approved. Zubac, Thompson for Aldama, Daniels. That's one that's borderline, but it got approved. This one is way over the line because you have a waiver level player being traded for real players. We don't do that in week 1. That's a bad trade.
Thanks, Rick, for that analysis. Now, there were some other things that were going on kind of behind the scenes with this trade. We've had some rumors, some reports of some mischief in the background from various sources. Johnny G, do you have any information on this or any light to shed?
Yeah, definitely. I can help out with that. So I had a little bug put in my ear that there might be something big going down in fantasy land on Friday. So not only did we have the massive case going on, the trade that was being voted on had recently gone to league-wide vote. So the council, the Cardinals, they couldn't figure it out. The Pope had the foresight to take this to the league to vote on. And at a moment of weakness, Matt
It's
was
the right decision.
approached. Agreed. Hey, the Pope makes the right decisions. We can all agree on that. That's one thing we all agree on. But what happened was Matt, at a moment of weakness, at his lowest of the low, with the hours dwindling down before that vote took hold, he was approached by none other than Patrick of the Fireballers and Colin of the Lexington Ligmas.
This breaking
And
news?
yeah, I think this might be breaking news. He was approached about potentially a trade that could help get multiple parties what they want. That would include Matt getting a couple approvals on his vote, and I find that to be very crooked, very crooked. Now it makes sense. We're talking about Matt, the Rat Emperor. We're talking about Patrick, the Snake of all snakes, and Colin. Guy's got nothing in his head besides thoughts of his cousin. So Rick, what do you think about this? What do you think
Hold on.
about
Before
this
I
news?
before I comment, what sort of proof could there possibly be to some? I mean, I'm not making you reveal your sources here, but is there any proof behind this?
I will say this, okay? I can't, as a good journalist, I can't reveal my sources, but I have messages from multiple parties on multiple ends of text threads between the belligerents, Colin, Matt, and Patrick. Looks like there was potential blackmail, potential collusion, and most of all, wiretapping laws being broken. Two-party
That's
consent out the window.
that's shocking because we know this is a two-party consent league, and blackmail for white dick, I can't stand for that. In this league, now listen, you're not the first one to hear of this. I did have a little birdie at a little bar in Lexington on Saturday night who gave me a little
Mm,
tweet, a little
little
tweet
tweet.
that said, "I see Colin on the phone with Matt right now." And of all people, Colin on the phone with Matt on the night of a trade, denial. That raises red flags. Is that Matt going after another poor sap? I take advantage of one. I take advantage of a second one in the same night. That's something to
Could be,
watch out for.
especially on the same night that Colin forgot to start one of his players. There's a lot of things that aren't lining up. This is look. This is the way I look at it. It's the most terrifying duo in the league. Patrick, the drunk snake conspirator, and Colin, the guy who can't even set his lineup. All right. They're facing off with Matt, the Rat King. All right. The man balls so hard, he threw $24 on Jason Tatum, dropped him like it was nothing. All right. AJ Mitchell picked up, dropped. Trey Johnson dropped. Quentin Grimes dropped. You think he's not going to spit in the face of wiretapping laws, two-party consent? He doesn't care.
Short of the most dangerous two-party duo in the league, and that's Patrick and Matt. Can you imagine that rat and that snake teaming up for no good, that's something you want to watch out for.
Well,
I've seen it
hopefully,
before, and I
let me-
do not want to see it again.
Thanks, guys. Well, hopefully the Pope and his theocratic regime can get to the bottom of that. Hopefully, we'll have some news on you for that at some point. Big numbers all around in week 1, but are we already overreacting to Wemby? Rick, what's your take on Wemby?
Great question, Josh. I've been watching a lot of NBA basketball for a long time, and I've never seen anything like Wemby in the first 3 games of the season. Anything. And I think I can say with confidence right now, and Johnny G, correct me if I'm wrong. I can say Wemby is the greatest shot blocker in NBA history right now.
You're wrong.
And slow down. On top of that, he's also the runaway candidate for MVP this year. It's his to lose the way he's playing right now. Let me ask you this, Johnny. If you want to debate here, who's going to win the Defensive Player of the Year this year? Is it not Wemby? He's the odds-on favorite by far against the field. If he's playing like this on defense, add in the offense he's putting in 33 points per game, the rebounds, the assists, he's the runaway candidate for MVP.
You done? I'm sorry. I didn't know you were asking the questions, Rick. I thought that was our host's job. Yeah. Is the question about the MVP? Is it about the defensive player? Is it about who's got more blood clots in their shoulder? I don't know. But what I do know is I have no faith in Wemby. All right. First of all, he's French. Last Frenchman I had faith. Last Frenchman I had faith in. Last Frenchman I had faith in was Emperor of France. Okay, Napoleon. Never forget. All right. I don't care about this frog. All right. He's got a freak body. Sure, he's flexible. Sure, he's tall. Yes, he's got moves and his hands are as big as a basketball, but I don't care. All right. You know what ability counts, Rick? You know what ability counts? Hey, it's something my grandmama always said. The best ability is availability. All right. And I know all about Wemby. In some of my fantasy leagues last year, I had the sad luck to be saddled with Victor Wembanyama when he went down with that blood clot. And that's a freak thing. What about a torn ligament? What about a knee, an arm, a shoulder, an owie finger? It happens all the time with guys like this. There's one guy you can count on. He's always there. He's never injured, and he doesn't even have the ability to get injured. Nikola Jokic. That's my MVP.
Okay, slow down. First of all, we all know blood clot was a fake disease that the Spurs invented to send him off to the Shaolin monks to reinvent himself and reach his 9th chakra or whatever level he's on.
It was an attempt for colonization.
Who would you rather watch? A loser with a headband on shooting free throws, a sloppy fat boy tossing out whenever he's in trouble.
Whoa, sloppy fat boy. That's skinny Nikola. He's looking good after that
blocking Slenderman blocking 3-pointers and running it out of the other end and putting it in. You know, I know you were saddled with him last year. I get it. They shut him down to reach him to the next like 3 chakras above where he's at. But this year, he's saddled up as a racehorse. Unfortunately, pulling a pony style ride on Nathan's team. But he is a racehorse who's running for number 1. Easy
All right,
MVP.
I'm going to cut you off. We're talking about basketball. We're not talking about horse racing. If we were talking about horse racing, we'd also be talking about Nikola Jokic, okay? All right? He's the man, triple-double machine. He's Iceman. He's a killer, all right? He's the Joker. That is who is our MVP. That's the best player in the league.
All right, guys.
Shea had his spot in the sun.
Thanks, guys. I'm going to cut it off there, and we're going to move on to our last segment of the day.
Fuck you, bro.
All right. Stars get the spotlight, but championships are won in the margins. Has this year's waiver wire player of the year already been discovered? Now, Rick, I know this is a really passionate topic for you, so I'm going to hand it off to you first.
Great one, Josh. You know, this year, I'm looking at the guy who, before tonight's game, which looks like he had another good one, uh, A.J. Mitchell ranked 28th overall, averaging 19 over
Who?
4, over 4, over 1. AJ, and that's not his initials, that's his real name. Uh, the important bit, averaging
Huh?
15 attempts per game across 3 games, getting good looks on a good team. I like AJ Mitchell as the steal of the waiver wire. You see them every year. This year, pick him up. Go get AJ Mitchell.
Wow, great insight, Rick. Um, yeah, AJ Mitchell, who is playing for an OKC team that is debilitated with injury currently at the guard position and a guard and forward position. Caruso, dead. Jalen Williams, dead. All right. He is taking all of the load on that team. He's getting garbage time
They're
buckets.
not dead.
They're dead. They're dead until they're back. All right. This is a start or sit or start league. Okay, you're either sitting or you're starting, and if you're not starting, you're sitting. Okay, and AJ Mitchell right now he's closer to starting. Okay, but once Jalen Williams and Alex Caruso are healthy, they're going to be starting. And what's AJ Mitchell going to be doing? Sitting. Okay, that's how it works. All right, this is the waiver of the year. All right, listen closely. I'll say it once. I don't want everyone to hear about him. Trey Johnson. They call him Big Johnson, Trey Johnson. All right. Averaging 17, 4, and 2 on 47% from the field, 100% from the free throw line, shooting guard on the Washington Wizards, and without fluctuation, he's playing 27 minutes a game. All right. He's not playing more one game, less another. He's getting 27 minutes. So there's room for growth. And he's already averaging a stellar fucking line for a team that is in desperate need of scoring and breakout star potential. Like the Wizards are screaming for someone to come out and take the load.
Let's remember how good someone like Jalen Green on a bad team last year was. Like he was like 90th, and Trey Johnson putting up what's he, a rookie on a bad team.
Jalen Green.
I think that's the comp for Trey Johnson at best, who ended up like 90th last year. Trey Johnson,
Houston
who's
wasn't a
going to
bad
be
team.
who's going to be way worse on a bad team. There's no way, unless he ends up as Donovan Mitchell, he's not anywhere near rosterable. You look at good teams last year, Peyton Pritchard,
Mm.
top 50 for half the years because he's getting good looks, efficient looks on a good team. You're playing 14,
No,
4, and
because there
4
were injuries
basketball.
on the Celtics, and that's why he was starting. And it's the same thing with AJ Mitchell. He'll get
No,
his time when
it's the
there are
same league. Oh
injuries.
no, it's the same
Look,
thing.
no, 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 no. You know what I would rather have over a good player playing on a good team when there are injuries? I would rather have a good player on a bad team who's always playing. Okay, he's got more runway. He's got way more ability, higher ceiling, way higher ceiling. What are you telling me AJ Mitchell's going to do in the dog days of April of March? Okay, he's not going to be playing. He's not going to sniff the court.
He's the sixth man getting good looks on a nightly basis. If you have an even 14, 4, and 4 guy who, when players are out, pops for 22, that's the man you want. AJ Mitchell is without a doubt the steal. He's the penny on the sidewalk, heads up. He's the $20 bill you find in your pocket. AJ Mitchell is the freebie of this year's waiver wire.
Yeah, apparently he's been picked up and dropped several times already. You drunk? He's clearly a steal.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Well, thank you guys. That wraps up another episode of The Disputed. Thanks again for joining me here. As always, my two hosts, Rick and Johnny G. We'll see you next week.